Genesis chapter 6, Human corruption. Now after the population of human beings had increased throughout the earth, and daughters had been born to them, some divine beings noticed how attractive human women were, so they took wives for themselves from a selection that pleased them. So the Lord said, "My spirit won't remain with human beings forever, because they're truly immortal. Their lifespan will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth at that time, and also immediately afterward, when those divine beings were having sexual relations with those human women, who gave birth to children for them. These children became the heroes and legendary figures of ancient times. God decides to destroy the world. The Lord saw that human evil was growing more and more throughout the earth, with every inclination of people's thoughts becoming only evil on a continuous basis. Then the Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and he was deeply grieved about that. So the Lord said, "I will annihilate these human beings whom I have created from the earth, including people, animals, crawling things, and flying creatures, because I'm grieving that I made them." However, the Lord was pleased with Noah. Noah obeys God. These are the family records of Noah. Noah was a righteous man. Blameless during his times, Noah communed with God. Noah fathered 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. By this time, the earth had become ruined in God's opinion and filled with violence. God looked at the earth, observing how corrupt its population had become, because the entire human race had corrupted itself. So God announced to Noah, "I've decided to destroy every living thing on earth, because it has become filled with violence due to them. Look, I'm about to annihilate them, along with the earth. So make yourself an ark out of cedar, constructing compartments in it, and cover it inside and out with tar. Make the ark like this, 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Make a roof for the ark, and finish the walls to within 1 cubit from the top. Place the entrance in the side of the ark, and build a lower, a middle, and an upper deck. For my part, I'm about to flood the earth with water and destroy every living thing that breathes. Everything on earth will die. However, I will establish my own covenant with you, and you are to enter the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives. You are to bring 2 of every living thing into the ark so they may remain alive with you. They are to be male and female, from birds according to their species, from domestic animals according to their species, and from everything that crawls on the ground according to their species. 2 of everything will come to you so they may remain alive. For your part, take some of the edible food and store it away. These stores will be food for you and the animals." Noah did all of this, precisely as God had commanded. Genesis chapter 7, the flood begins. Entering the ark. Then the Lord told Noah, "Come, you and all your household, into the ark, because I've seen that you alone are righteous in this generation. You are to take with you 7 pairs of every clean animal, a male and its mate, and 2 of the unclean animals, a male and its mate, along with 7 pairs of the flying birds, male and female, in order to keep their offspring alive on the surface of all the earth. 7 days from now I'll send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I'll destroy every living creature that I've made." Noah did everything that the Lord commanded. The flood begins. Noah was 600 years old when water began to flood the earth. Noah, his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives entered the ark with him before the flood waters arrived. From both clean and unclean animals, from birds, and from everything that crawls on the ground, 2 by 2, male and female, they entered the ark to join Noah, just as God had commanded. 7 days later, the flooding started. On the 17th day of the 2nd month, when Noah was 600 years old, all the springs of the great deep burst open, the floodgates of the heavens were opened, and it rained throughout the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. On that very day, Noah entered the ark with his son Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's wife, his sons' 3 wives with them, along with every species of wild animal, livestock, crawling creature, bird, and every creature that has wings. 2 of each living creature entered the ark with Noah. The males and females of each living creature entered the ark, just as God had commanded. Then the Lord sealed them inside. The flood continued throughout the earth for 40 days, while the flood waters increased, lifting the ark so that it rose above the surface of the earth. The flood waters continued to surge, increasing throughout the earth, while the ark floated on the surface of the flood water. The flood water surged even higher throughout the earth, until all the highest mountains under the sky were covered. The flood waters rose 15 cubits above the mountains. Every living thing on earth died, flying creatures, livestock, wildlife, all creatures that swarm over the earth, and all human beings. Everything that breathed and everything that had lived on dry land died. All existing creatures that had lived on the surface of the ground were annihilated, from humans to livestock, from crawling creatures to birds of the sky. They were wiped off the earth. Only Noah remained, along with those who were with him in the ark. The flood waters surged over the earth for 150 days. Genesis chapter 8, the waters recede. God kept Noah in mind, along with all the wildlife and livestock that were with him in the ark. God's Spirit moved throughout the earth, causing the flood waters to subside. The water sources from the ocean depths were blocked and the floodgates of the heavens were closed. Then the flood waters steadily receded, diminishing completely by the end of the 150 days. The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat on the 17th day of the 7th month. The flood water continued to recede until the 10th month, when, on the 1st of that month, the tops of the mountains could be seen. After 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark that he had built and sent out a raven. It went back and forth as the flood water continued to evaporate throughout the earth. Later, he sent a dove out from the ark to see whether the water that covered the land's surface had completely receded, but the dove could not yet find a place to rest, so it returned to Noah on the ark, since water still covered the land. Noah reached out his hand and took the dove back into the ark with him. Noah waited another 7 days and sent the dove out from the ark again. The dove returned to him in the evening, but in its beak there was an olive leaf that it had plucked. So Noah knew that the flood waters had decreased on the land. He waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again. But it did not return to him anymore. In the 601st year of Noah's life, during the 1st month, the flood water began to evaporate from the land. Noah then removed the ark's cover and saw that the surface of the land was drying. By the 27th day of the 2nd month, the ground was dry. The Lord's covenant. God spoke to Noah, "It's time for you, your wife, your sons, and your sons' wives who are with you to leave the ark. Bring out with you every living creature, including the flying creatures, animals, and everything that crawls on the ground, so they may disperse throughout the land, be fruitful, and multiply throughout the earth." So Noah, his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives emerged. Every animal, every crawling thing, every flying creature, and everything that moves on the earth emerged from the ark by groups. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and offered burnt offerings on it from every clean animal and every clean bird. When the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma, he told himself, "I will never again curse the land because of human beings, even though human inclinations remain evil from youth, nor will I destroy every living being ever again, as I've done. Never again. As long as the earth exists, will sowing and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night ever cease." Genesis chapter 9, the covenant with Noah. God blessed Noah and his sons and ordered them, "Be productive, multiply, and fill the earth. All the living creatures of the earth will be filled with fear and terror of you from now on, including all the creatures that fly in the sky, everything that crawls on the ground, and all the fish of the ocean. They've been assigned to live under your dominion. Every living, moving creature will be food for you. Just as I gave you green plants before, so now you have everything. However, you are not to eat meat with its life, that is, its blood, in it. Also, I will certainly demand an accounting regarding bloodshed, from every animal and from every human being. I'll demand an accounting from every human being for the life of another human being. Whoever sheds human blood, by human his own blood is to be shed. Because God made human beings in His own image. Now as for you, be productive and multiply. Spread out over the land and multiply throughout it. Later, God told Noah and his sons, "Pay attention. I'm establishing my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the flying creatures, the livestock, and all the wildlife of the earth that are with you, all the earth's animals that came out of the ark. I will establish my covenant with you. No living beings will ever be cut off again by flood waters, and there will never again be a flood that destroys the earth." The sign of God's covenant. God also said, "Here's the symbol that represents the covenant that I'm making between me and you and every living being with you. For all future generations, I've set my rainbow in the sky to symbolize the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow becomes visible in the clouds, I'll remember my covenant between me and you and every living creature, so that water will never again become a flood to destroy all living beings. When the rainbow is in the clouds, I will observe it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living beings on the earth." God also told Noah, "This is the symbol of the covenant that I've established between me and everything that lives on the earth." Noah and his family. Noah's sons who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham later fathered Canaan. These three were Noah's sons, and from these men the whole earth was repopulated. Noah, a man of the soil, was the first to plant and farm a vineyard. He drank some of the wine, got drunk, and lay down naked right in the middle of his tent. Ham, who fathered Canaan, saw his father's genitals and told his two brothers outside. Then Shem and Japheth took their father's cloak, laid it across both their shoulders, and walking backwards, they both covered their father's genitals. Their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's genitals. When Noah sobered up and learned what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Canaan is cursed. He will be the lowest of slaves to his relatives." He also said, "Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and may Canaan be his slave. May God make room for Japheth. May God live in Shem's tents, and may Canaan serve him." Noah lived 350 years after the flood. After Noah had lived a total of 950 years, he died. Genesis chapter 10, Descendants and Nations from Noah. These are the records of Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, to whom descendants were born after the flood. Japheth's descendants included Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. Gomer's descendants included Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. Javan's descendants included Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim, from whom the coastal nations spread into their own lands and nations, each with their own language and family groups. Ham's descendants. Ham's descendants included Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. Cush's descendants included Saba, Havilah, Sabta, Raamah, and Sabteka. Raamah's descendants included Sheba and Dedan. Cush fathered Nimrod, who became the first fearless leader throughout the land. He became a fearless hunter in defiance of the Lord. That is why it is said, like Nimrod, a fearless hunter in defiance of the Lord. His kingdom began in the region of Shinar with the cities of Babylon, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh. From there he went north to Assyria and built Nineveh, Rehoboth-ir, and Calah, along with Rezin, which was located between Nineveh and the great city of Calah. Egypt fathered the Ludites, the Anamites, the Lhabites, the Naphchites, the Pathrosites, the Casluhites, from which came the Philistines, and the Caphtorites. Canaan fathered Sidon his firstborn, along with the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, the Archites, the Sinites, the Arvadites, the Zemarites, and the Hamathites. Later, the Canaanite families were widely scattered. The Canaanite border extended south from Sidon toward Gerar as far as Gaza, and east toward Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim, as far as Lasha. These are Ham's descendants, listed by their families, each with their own lands, language, and family groups. Shem's descendants. Shem, Japheth's older brother, also had descendants. Shem was the father of the descendants of Eber. Shem's sons included Elam, Ashur, Arpachshad, Lud, and Aram. Aram's descendants included Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arpachshad fathered Canaan, Canaan fathered Shelah, and Shelah fathered Eber. To Eber were born two sons. One was named Peleg, because the earth was divided during his lifetime. His brother was named Joktan. Joktan fathered Almodad, Shelef, Hazarmaveth, Jerah, Hadoram, Uzal, Diklah, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All these were Joktan's descendants. Their settlements extended from Asia toward Sephir, the eastern hill country. These are Shem's descendants, listed by their families, each with their own lands, language, and family groups. These are the families of Noah's sons, according to their records, by their nations. From these people, the nations on the earth spread out after the flood.